Welcome back to another episode of Why So Sidious, a nerd podcast where we cover all things fandom. With me once again are my co-hosts Dave and Jeremy. Today we will be covering that little event that took place in Southern California over the weekend, Comic-Con. Breaking down all the big news from San Diego with some predictions, theories, and a good old-fashioned fan cast. But first, let's get into this edition of Week in Geek. Dave, did you have something for us?
Kind of, yeah. I just had a small thing, so it kind of relates to something we had talked about in our previous fan casting for X-Men. So a popular fan cast that all three of us had for our X-Men fan casting was Giancarlo Esposito. Now, a couple of us had him as Professor X, and one of us had him as Magneto. And the rumors have came in that he has reportedly been talking with Marvel about a position as Charles Xavier, Professor X, for an upcoming X-Men. It's not confirmed. It's just a rumor.
Let's go.
I think that would get a decent amount of people excited if that were to be the case.
Yes, us here at Why So Sidious are very good at seeing the future.
Yeah, that would be amazing. I mean, it's a slightly older Charles, but I'll take it for sure any day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's like probably mid-50s, something.
Yeah, I mean, not super old.
He would be a great Charles, dude. He's calm and composed and comes across as very intelligent. I think he'd be super good.
Yeah, I would be stoked. It's a good addition to the MCU regardless, whatever he's doing. But the confirmed thing is he is in talks with the MCU. The Professor X thing is a rumor, but he is officially in talks with the MCU. So got a good feeling we'll be seeing him at some point.
Well, I do have one other rumor coming out of Mandalorian Season 3. A leak in the Bestman Bulletin claims Pedro Pascal hasn't been on set for The Mandalorian Season 3 at all due to his commitment to the HBO series Last of Us. However, filming for that series wrapped last month, meaning there was a window of time where he could have stepped into the Mandalorian armor and given his stunt doubles a break. I could be reading too much into this, just because he was pretty busy with Last of Us for the last year straight. But there were rumors coming out after season 1 about creative differences between him and Jon Favreau, where, you know, he doesn't want to act behind a helmet the whole time. But at the same time, you signed up to play a character where it's against his religion to take his helmet off.
Yeah, like
so
what?
There's kind of a, crossroads there.
That reminds me of someone
But season
like in the
2
NFL
ended December.
Holding out on OTAs or minicamp because they want a new contract or something.
Seriously.
Right. But season 2 ended December 2020. And I still feel like, it's been over 2 years now since Mandalorian's been on TV. And I think they threw the Book of Boba Fett together real fast because of the things that were going on between Pedro Pascal and Last of Us. Because that show was pretty mid. And it seemed like it was half Mando, half Boba Fett.
Yeah, all the Boba Fett parts of that show are disappointing. But the Mando parts were obviously what saved it. But that is not great to hear, obviously. You don't want to hear about any type of internal strife or drama going on set with something like that. The only thing that kind of gives me a little bit of like, well, could be worse, is that, like you said, he is behind a helmet. So they can do a lot of work without him. Unfortunately, they're still going to need him to come in and do voiceovers at some point. So it's salvageable, but again, it's not a great thing you want to hear at the start of all this. And it definitely makes you a little annoyed with Pedro. Like, bro, like you said, you knew what you were signing on for. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing here?
Dude, this is the one show that everybody likes. Like, please don't screw it up.
Don't ruin this for us. You brought us all back together as a fandom with the first season of The Mandalorian. Do not do this to us, Pedro.
Yes.
Well, that about wraps it up for Week in Geek. Let's get into our main topic. We're just going to start it off with a tiny bit of Star Wars news. They did drop some new High Republic comics and novels, and we will be covering some of those High Republic novels or ones that have previously been released in the future. I know that they do save their news for D23, which is coming on September 9th.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's sooner than I was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure how I feel about the High Republic
okay.
in general. The High Republic's weird. It's like you want them to get away from the Skywalker saga, right? But at the same time, this is such new territory. You're like, oh man, what can they do to make it really feel like Star Wars still? You know what I mean? Like the High Republic is not going to have a Vader or an Emperor or a Skywalker, obviously. So hopefully something really pulls us into that High Republic world.
Yeah, I just think it's exciting that it's a new take. Like you said, we've done Skywalker Saga for so long. And it's a new take on Star Wars. They're really organizing it well, coordinating with all the different creators. And they still have the Jedi and Sith aspect of it, but we're going to see a different type of Jedi before they got tarnished by the war, before their ideals went out the window with the war and everything that happened with the Clone Wars. We'll get to see them at the peak of the Jedi Order. So that'll be interesting to see. And we'll get to see the Sith, a different Sith story, coming from the dark, out of the depths, whatever the case is. I'm not really, sure on all the plot details. It definitely could go bad or good, but I'm excited to at least see a new type of Star Wars taken on and see a different type of era. And we're still going to have Yoda. Gonna get a prime Yoda. Hopefully that'll be around his time when he's a few hundred years old. So yeah, I think there could be some cool stuff coming out of this.
Yeah, it's just new territory, so we don't know what to expect. But obviously, there's plenty of opportunity for it to be very good.
Right.
Well, I think that's about it for Star Wars. Moving on to Rings of Power, we got a brand new Comic-Con trailer. Sauron was featured. They did show a little glimpse of his hand with the.
Yeah, I'm guessing that was the nod to Sauron there. But I don't know. He wears gauntlets in the Fellowship flashbacks and stuff, so I'm not really sure.
Mm-hmm. I guess they played multiple clips of the show to the audience. There was like a Galadriel and Elrond walking through talking about, I forgot what there was a scene with those two. There was a couple more scenes.
Okay.
But then just a couple quotes from the panel. They had the executive producers out there with some of the cast.
Mm-hmm.
Executive producer Payne, his last name, calls the series a human story about how far someone would go into the darkness to protect the things they love.
Huh. Okay.
And actually, Stephen Colbert was running the panel.
Interesting. Is he tied in with Lord of the Rings a lot?
I guess he's a big fan. But he asked the other producer, Balrog, if the season unintentionally helped set up stuff in the Third Age. And McKay says, the Second Age is so dense, they don't need it to dip into the Third Age. Weber says they built practical sets as much as they could, and that includes several blocks and an entire wharf.
Whew. Can you guys explain to me the 3 ages?
Yeah. So Lord of the Rings, the main trilogy, takes place in the Third Age. So there's 3 ages so far. The First Age has a ton of history to it, thousands and thousands of years. There's not an exact amount of time that the First Age is. Basically, it's every single thing that ever have happened before the creation of the Rings of Power, which kickstarted the Second Age. So the First Age has, I always forget the title of it. So J.R.R. Tolkien wrote something called I want to say like the Cimmerian. Lord of the Rings fans out there, know what I'm talking about. It's kind of like the Silmarillion or something like that. But basically that kind of covers a lot of the stuff that happened in the First Age. The Silmarillion. There you go. Silmarillion. Covers a lot of the stuff that happened in the First Age. Second Age, Rings of Power. It's the men, dwarfs, elves get all their rings. Sauron's rise to power happens throughout the Second Age. And then the Second Age ends when Sauron's hand is cut off and the Ring of Power is he's defeated, essentially, his physical form. And so the whole Third Age is everything that happens after that point. So the Second Age is 2,000-3,000 years, I believe. So I believe I could be wrong on some of those things, but that's my understanding of it as of now.
Okay.
Moving on to House of the Dragon. Now, they also had a panel with the cast, and George R.R. Martin himself was there.
Okay.
Now, this panel was ran by a good friend of Dave and I.
Oh, no.
None other than Jason Concepcion.
Oh, Jason! Oh, I thought you were going to say, I don't know why. I was thinking Kathleen Kennedy. We're talking about Game of Thrones. Jason, good guy. Good
Oh,
guy.
shit.
Check out the show Binge Mode. Great
Yeah.
podcast.
There was a extended trailer. It was basically the same trailer as before, just kind of the scenes were mixed around. They did show them forging the infamous dagger that's in this show, the same one that Littlefinger Joffrey used to try and kill Bran, and Arya used to kill the Night King. It's in this show too.
Oh, I forgot the name of that dagger. Really cool though. That's cool.
I don't know, like Cat's Paw or
Yeah, something like that. It's got the name. It's got the Valerian steel dagger. I thought it was called Cat's something or something like that. Even though that sounds kind of pathetic. Cat's Paw. No, I don't know. Continue. I don't think that's exactly right, but
I also heard something that about this show goes in a linear order. There's no flashbacks.
okay.
Thank God.
Yeah, it's confusing enough. That's good.
Production is already preparing for season 2.
Okay.
When Matt Smith came on stage, they started chanting Morbin time, and he had no idea what Morbin time was.
Oh, I was jokingly thinking that in my head. Morbin time. They actually chanted that when he came out on stage. That poor guy. Oh my gosh. He's the secondary character in the movie Morbius.
He didn't know what it was though.
God, good for him. I wouldn't want to be living in that world any more than I had to either. So there's it's Morbin time trend going on Instagram and social media where basically everybody's mocking Morbius, and it got such a following and such a trend following that they re-released Morbius into theaters, and it got like 248 total tickets sold like across the nation for the re-release. And I don't know what Sony thought. They're like, oh, we're trending, we got to give the people what they want. It's like, oh, you're trending because the movie was ass and everybody is mocking. Like, it's like Joe Biden saying like, yeah, let's go Brandon. Like, no, you're being made fun of, don't lean into this. Like, that's poor guy.
So remind me when the time takes place. Like, this is way too far in the past to include the Stark Rebellion, right?
In Ned's dad.
This is about
Yeah, when the
I think
Baratheons and Starks take over the Iron Throne.
Yeah.
Because it's thousands of years before that, right? Or at least hundreds of years before that?
Caleb, I think it's at least over 500 years, maybe not 1,000. I don't know. What
It's
is
like-
it, Caleb?
no, it's like 150. It's
for
150
real?
years before the
Okay.
Game of Thrones.
So do you
Okay.
think season 2
So this
could eventually lead into the Stark and Baratheon rebellion? or
no, that's a whole different show by itself. This is all about the Targaryens.
Okay, but whoever ends up on the throne, it was the Mad King that the Baratheons and the Starks overthrew, right?
Yeah.
So do you think we'll see the Mad King or anything, maybe even as a child?
Maybe in season 2 as like a baby, like a throwaway nod kind of thing or something.
Okay, so it's not
But-
anywhere close. Okay.
Yeah. They'd have to cover a lot of ground.
No, I don't think this show's gonna, because that's still like a while away. This show is gonna show the beginning of the downfall of the Targaryens. So at the beginning of the show, they're gonna be at their height, the highest of their powers, and then by the time the show ends, it's gonna be where you start to see where things are going down.
That's so dope.
Okay.
I can't wait to see that. Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
That's where like the most dragons on the world were probably in that time period, huh?
I don't know the specifics of that, but yeah, there's definitely
As far as
of dragons.
as far as Tyrion reading his books about these dragons and Targaryens, it's almost like
Yeah.
this is the height of the Targaryens, maybe the height of all the dragon action, all that good stuff.
Yeah, it's at least, yeah, we're going to be getting a lot of that. It is a bummer that there's no flashbacks, because I was going to say I was kind of hoping to get a small glimpse into Valyria, like before the Doom. I don't know. That'd be a whole nother thing in itself, but I've always been really interested in that whole thing about Valyria and the Doom. So
I would be
That's
too.
okay.
I just hate when the stories do like flashback and then present day and then flashback and then present day. I'm like,
yeah, I wouldn't want
linear
it to bounce back.
yeah, like a prequel story is all good, but it's like when they're jumping back and forth, you're just like, dude, just tell a linear story.
Yeah. No, I was hoping for more of like a 20-second, like something happens and they mention, and then there's a quick like flashback of the dragons and the Valyria and something. I don't know. But it's okay, obviously. One day.
Well, I can't wait for that show to come out in about a month.
Yeah,
So-
baby, we're right there.
Yeah. Moving on to DC. We got a Shazam 2 Fury of the Gods trailer. Now, this trailer featured Shazam referencing 3 members of the Justice League.
Oh, really?
Wonder Woman will reportedly appear in a dream sequence. And his friendship with Superman was already established in his 2019 debut, which led to another faceless cameo. And there was a short clip of The Flash. Speaking of faceless cameos, they showed Flash from the back because, Ezra Miller's been in a little bit of trouble lately.
Yeah, DC.
Well, I think it was just shot from another movie because he was just talking about how a hero already wears a red suit with a lightning bolt on it.
It's very true. Not that creative.
But what was interesting is it was the Snyderverse Justice League. Like, who knows what the hell's going on at DC anymore? But it showed Ben Affleck's Batman and Aquaman and Ezra Miller's Flash. It doesn't seem like they're distancing themselves too much from the Snyderverse.
So I was going to ask about that because I didn't watch the trailer. Sorry. But yeah, because we don't even know we don't even know if Henry Cavill's coming back as Superman. We don't know what's going on in the DC universe with that stuff. So,
and there was reports
DC.
There was rumors that he was going to show up at Comic-Con for the DC panel, and everyone was losing their minds about it. But obviously, he wasn't there. So,
yeah, I heard those rumors too. And
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson keeps saying stuff about how Black Adam would whoop Superman's ass.
Really?
He got booed.
Yeah,
after
when
he said that,
he said it depends on who's playing Superman or something like that.
And then everybody just started booing.
From what I understand, yeah.
Yeah, that's DC.
Dave, you got anything on Shazam?
Not so much on Shazam. I mean, the first movie was cool. It wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. I liked Zach Levi. But yeah, I don't really have any expectations. I'm way more excited about Black Adam. But not a lot to say about Shazam right now.
Well, let's move on to JD. Were you going to say something?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not a big Shazam fan. I don't have a lot to say about it. Not that excited about the movie, to be honest.
Yeah.
I did notice there seemed like there was some kind of old lady villain, which I don't know. That doesn't seem great, but it's better than a worm, which is what was hinted towards at the end credit scene of Shazam 1, right?
Oh, yeah. I forgot what the name of that villain was, but yeah, he's an inchworm, Mr. Mind or something. That's not the name.
Yeah. So it's like if you pick an old lady villain or a worm, it's whatever. I'd much rather like a Black Adam villain be there. But one other thing is one shot showed him flying through a city that was all shifting around like a Doctor Strange kind of style.
Yeah.
So I wonder if that has anything to do with the Flashpoint thing coming up, because they're also messing with the multiverse in DC, probably to reboot the whole thing because it was not successful.
Right. Could be a Dr. Fate thing, because we know Dr. Fate will be in Black Adam, and he's pretty much the DC's Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Black Adam for a second. There was another new trailer, and we got an appearance from Black Adam himself, Dwayne Johnson. Now, he did have a quote saying, "The goal of Black Adam is to, quote, usher in a new era in the DC universe."
Much needed. Okay.
And Viola Davis as Amanda Waller was confirmed to be in the movie.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's super confusing, but I like her.
The one piece of continuity that's keeping the DCEU alive.
Right. I was going to say, she's in both Suicide Squads.
Peacemaker.
Is she in? Oh, yeah. She's in the actual
A couple
show.
little scenes.
Yeah.
I'm confused because at Comic-Con, they confirmed that the Snyderverse is not being expanded on. So it's like they're not going to do his stories, I guess, like all the stuff he hinted in the Snyder Cut of Justice League. I guess they're not going to do that, but they're still keeping some of the characters. So I don't know how they're differentiating between the Snyderverse and the characters that he included in his Snyderverse. Like, obviously the characters are still there, so the whole thing is just super confusing.
Yeah, bro, I don't think they know either. I think, like Lub said, the Flashpoint paradox, they're just going to use it to reset a bunch of stuff and combine some stuff and fix into whatever universe they're trying to get to at that point. But it's a mess.
Yeah, but then they probably had plans for Ezra Miller, but those are now getting tossed out the window. Like, they have nothing.
Their restart project just got restarted, possibly. So it's like, yeah, who knows, man. That's interesting though. There's a lot of people popping up in this Black Adam movie. Hawkman. He's showing up. I forget the name of the guy playing him, but he's a good actor. I want to say it's like Aldous. Oh man, I forgot his name. Sorry, he's a good actor though.
The author of
There
Doors
it
of
is.
Perception.
It's actually Aldous Dumbledore.
But did you see that
joke,
shot
but-
with him with Hawkman approaching Black Adam? He just blasts him with some thunder and sends him flying. That was sick.
Yeah, that looked cool. Dr. Fate, Aldous Hodge is Hawkman's name. I was right there. But yeah, we got Dr. Fate coming in, Pierce Brosnan, which I gotta say the visuals and like the VFX of him looked great. Like the trailer, it looked so clean and didn't look fake or goofy at all. So that was pretty encouraging. And we got the Atom or whatever.
Yep, the Atom.
He's running around giant size, running down through the city. A lot of cool stuff. A lot of really cool. This movie looks like, it's DC. It is The Rock. So there's never a 0% chance that the movie's going to be a corny bomb. But it has a lot of potential, and I wouldn't be shocked if it actually ended up being one of the better DC movies that's ever came out. So hoping for the best. The Rock might be cliche and corny like often, but he's at the same time he's always fun to watch. It's weird. Yeah, he is entertaining. I wouldn't want him in Marvel, but this would be the only character this like fits him perfectly. And he's always wanted to play Black Adam, so this would be the one character where I'd be like, all right, let's throw the Rock in, I guess, and we'll see what happens. But he is entertaining. So we'll see. This could be one of his best roles, honestly. The bar isn't that high, so. Well, and he's put a ton of excitement into it. He's shown a ton of enthusiasm that shows he wants to do the character right. And he's saying how it's like, even in the trailer, he's like, I'll kill people. I know heroes don't kill people, but I'll be killing people. And in general, on social media, Dwayne Johnson has showed a lot of excitement. So, I'm always a good sign. Yeah, totally.
And I think that about wraps it up for DC. We didn't get any Flash or Aquaman 2 news, but I think Dave does have one more thing for us.
Yeah, so just regarding DC, before we hop off that train wreck of a franchise, they do have a couple things coming out in categories in which they're good. So DC has always been the front runners when it comes to animated movies. I never really got into them much until a few years ago, especially when I got COVID a couple years ago. I think I watched like half of the HBO DC animated movies on there. And dude, yeah, there's some corny ones for sure, and they're mainly aimed at kids, but there's some that are definitely not aimed at kids. They're like, I think TVMA or rated R movies, and they're pretty good, man. Like they're pretty good animated movies. A bunch of them are rated R, dude. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say some of them they started getting brutal. I was like, these are not this isn't the TV-14 stuff I was watching last movie. That was gnarly. So they always have great, or at least good animated movies, and they always have great comics. So they have a DC animated movie coming out called Batman: The Doom That Came to Gotham. I don't know anything about it, but again, their Batman animated movies are usually pretty good. The most recent ones they just came out with, The Long Halloween Part 1 and Part 2, I really enjoyed. I thought it was done really well. And then they have another animated movie called Justice League War World, which I imagine has something to do with the comic run. But again, I don't really know anything about it, but they both have potential. But the other interesting one, so there is a Riddler comic series coming out. It is a year one edition, so it kind of showing the origin and everything of Riddler. It's a 6-issue bi-monthly run, and it's written by Paul Dano, the guy who acted and portrayed the Riddler in the most recent Batman movie. So he's actually writing it. So it's obviously going to be based on the Riddler that we got in the movie The Batman. So it's interesting. It's interesting. You don't really see the actor portraying the character write their own comic book. So he's obviously very into it. That could be cool. Another thing we got is a confirmation that there's going to be a Spawn and Batman crossover in the comics. Oh my gosh. Spawn, I forgot about him. Yeah, Spawn is like, his comics are kind of weird, but he's a cool character. It's one of those weird situations. But like Spawn and Batman have a lot of similarities as characters. So it's one of those things that it feels weird, but it'll probably be kind of fun to read. But at the same time, it'll probably be pretty out there, you know? If it's Spawn, it's going to be out there. So, but yeah, that could be cool.
Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Why So Sidious. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Why So Sidious Pod. Thank you. Bye. There will be conquering.